Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Book with Food Bank of Iowa. I joined the Food Bank in February of 2016, just over 4 years ago. Sometimes it seems like just yesterday. I brought with me 30 years of corporate training and work experience. Coming to the Food Bank provided an opportunity to utilize skills which I acquired in the business world to help solve a significant societal issue, hunger, in my very own home state of Iowa. Thank you for joining our discussion this afternoon. Today we'll talk about the food bank journey over the last 5 years, high-level fiscal results, and our preparedness to meet challenges today, tomorrow, and well into the future. For those of you who attended the last town hall, you may remember this family. Imagine they are a young couple just starting their careers as public school teachers with a young daughter in daycare, significant student debt, a car payment, and a mortgage. When trying to turn on the furnace for the first time this fall, they realize it's shot. As with many Americans today, they have no savings. After paying for the furnace and all their other monthly bills on entry-level salaries, they found their bank account and refrigerator were both depleted a week before payday. Fortunately, a friend told them about the food pantry stocked by Food Bank of Iowa, which was located nearby. They were able to go there to pick up peanut butter and jelly, pasta and marinara sauce, a box of cereal, fresh eggs and milk, chicken hindquarters, carrots and apples, enough to get by until their next payroll direct deposit. The next month, they were back on their feet again. This is a typical client story. Food Bank of Iowa exists to provide nutritious food to Iowans when times are tough. Food Bank of Iowa is a member of Feeding America, which holds each member food bank to certain high standards of food safety and distribution. For years leading up to 2015, Feeding America expressed their displeasure with Food Bank of Iowa's inability to serve all 55 counties equitably and at 50% of the median need. Shortly after my arrival in early 2016, a Feeding America compliance officer arrived to announce we had 12 months to turn the situation around. We reorganized programs and people, hired a few more staff, and bought tons of food. We set a course, worked hard, and in 2017, achieved the goal. We met the baseline Feeding America requirement. But we knew there was more need and that we had to do more to meet that need. In 2018, with our foot still on the gas, we completed a major renovation of the Des Moines Distribution Center, tripling the capacity, and also acquired a second distribution center in Ottumwa, Iowa. At this time, we also built a spacious, clean, and well-lit volunteer center and launched a robust volunteer recruitment effort. We hired key people to manage food acquisition, seeking more donated food opportunities and reduced price truckloads. With the facility up to speed and adequate staff, we turned our attention to the outdated fleet. Maintenance costs were killing us as they mounted on the trucks and the forklifts, which all had exceeded their optimal useful life years ago. With the support of Ruan Transportation, we went to work acquiring new vehicles and writing grants to cover the cost. Today, our drivers deliver food to all 55 counties across 30,000 square miles of Iowa in safe, fuel-efficient trucks. And distribution center workers pull orders using environmentally friendly lifts. In 2020, we turned our attention to building awareness for food insecurity and the role of the food bank. We hired a communications professional and went to work telling our story on social media, engaging more with local media, and I hit the road and gave more presentations. Here we are now in fiscal 2021 with a professional dream team of 35 passionate hunger fighters, led by 4 committed, resourceful, hardworking managers. Each person comes to work every day, fully invested in working together toward achieving a hunger-free Iowa. Today, I feel we're well prepared to meet any food insecure challenge thrown at us. And as disaster struck this year, this team rose to the occasion, which you'll see in upcoming slides. We have realized a 78% increase in distribution since 2016. We can't do any of this work without passionate, committed community partners. We grew from 460 to 651 partners in 5 years, a 41% increase in collaborations. I've learned that food insecure Iowans are optimally served when Food Bank of Iowa works with organizations whose mission and ethical values are aligned with those of the food bank. We continue to evaluate existing partnerships and explore new collaborations to ensure we're investing in quality relationships which optimize every pound of food distributed and every donor dollar. Let's take a few minutes to quickly meet a few of our partners. This is Wendy Hopkins from Lorenz, Iowa. She manages a small food pantry for us up in the northwest corner of Iowa. Wendy was very pleased when we went to direct delivery to her site several years ago. Many of you know Isaiah Knox, I'm sure, from Metro Des Moines. Isaiah took a leadership role at Urban Dreams a couple of years ago and now relies to a great degree on Food Bank of Iowa for his food outreach program. Viola Jones runs the food pantry in Stewart, Iowa, and with a committed cavalry of volunteers, she keeps people fed in a county which has a very high degree of need. And Al Perez, again, one of our local hunger fighting heroes here in Des Moines, Iowa. Al came to me shortly after COVID struck to say he had a legion of churches who wanted to help. Could they help us? And my answer was an immediate yes. And they pitched in, and these will be relationships that we rely upon for years to come to help feed hungry Des Moines citizens. And Becky Lundy is in Ames, Iowa. She runs the Boys and Girls Clubs in Story County and relies on the Food Bank of Iowa for the snacks and the food that she uses to prepare hot meals for her membership. Food rescue was the reason food banks were formed in the first place. And it's a big part of the work we do today. In 2017, we made a concerted effort to ramp up food rescue. We developed a methodology which is cost-effective and efficient, therefore sustainable. We match up donating retailers with nearby pantries who have upcoming open hours. Regular routine pickups are scheduled. Retailers set aside unsellable but edible food. Pantry volunteers trained to keep food safe pick up the food and take it back to the pantry. The pantry has open hours later that day or the next and hands the rescued food to someone who will take it home and prepare it the same day for their family. We've seen a 270% increase in food rescue in 5 years. We've also made a concerted effort to increase volunteerism. In our efforts to distribute more food, we buy more in bulk, which needs to be repackaged. We rescue more food, which needs to be inspected. And we pack more emergency food boxes than ever before. Our volunteerism has tripled since 2016. The value of a volunteer hour is $27.20, making the 2020 volunteer investment equal to over $864,000, or the equivalent of 3,458,000 meals. It's the kids I worry about the most. The little ones who are food insecure through no fault of their own. Imagine the anxiety these little people feel when they don't know when or where they will eat a nutritious meal again. Imagine the long-term effects of childhood hunger. Not listed here, but of particular note is the fact that if a child is hungry in school, that child will not pay attention to classwork, may not behave well, will not excel in school, which ultimately limits their ability to pursue a living wage career. And the cycle of poverty continues. Food insecurity is definitely an issue of equity. Prior to COVID-19, 16.8% of Latino households with children were food insecure, compared to 10.4% of white households with children. Since the pandemic, 47% of Latino households with children have reported food insecurity, and recent data shows this continues to rise. Black households with children in the US are nearly twice as likely as white families to struggle to afford food during the pandemic, according to new research. Experts say that although there have long been racial disparities in food insecurity, the gaps are widening amid this pandemic. The research, based on weekly household surveys from the US Census Bureau, found that 39% of Black households with children are currently food insecure, compared with 25% in 2018. By the way, the rate for white households today is 22%, those with kids. Fully meeting the childhood food assistance need is a strategic goal for Food Bank of Iowa, and to that point, almost 1/3 of our 634 partners are schools, daycares, and after-school programs. As the end of the last fiscal year, we had 101 food pantries embedded within schools, elementary, middle, and high schools. We're currently working with a group of local churches to provide off-site school pantries for Des Moines public school families across the metro, ensuring every family from the over 60 schools has access to a school pantry and that they're served equitably. Northwestern University Institute for Policy Research estimated current rates of food insecurity and the extent to which food insecurity rates have increased using the census's Household Pulse Survey. Nationwide, Hispanic and Black families with children suffer at much higher rates. They also released data, Northwestern University, regarding the state-level food insecurity increases. Iowa is reported as having 2.73 times greater food insecurity in August versus February of 2020. Food Bank of Iowa is ranked 40th out of 200 Feeding America food banks, expected to see the largest increases in food demand. The downturn in our agricultural economy and recent disruptive weather events contribute to the increased need. I'd like to share a few more corroborating headlines from recent news. This was the cover of the Business Record on September 11th. What's stressing out American workers? 54% say it's money matters or financial challenges. News from the Iowa Department of Revenue in July was not cheery. Iowa non-farm employment index declined. The largest declines in 20 years were experienced over the months of April, May, June, and July of 2020. Our average employment claims increased in July, and losses to crop commodities are expected. Creighton University reported rural Iowa economic instability earlier this month. Main Street Index, rural Main Street Index dipped. Farmland prices tumbled. The rural Main Street economy lost 6.8% of the non-farm employment jobs, 47,000, compared to the same time last year. So we find ourselves at an interesting crossroads. Do we sit tight, scale back, or step up? The need for assistance has never been greater. We don't think this will peak yet for another few years. The cost to meet the need is growing, the cost of food, the cost of transportation. And we don't know when or if the economy will recover. I truly believe that Food Bank of Iowa is well positioned today that alongside our volunteers and our donors, we can do this. We can take care of food insecure Iowans. It's our mission and it's our pledge to make sure every Iowan has food on their table every night. I'd like Brigitta Beardsley, our Vice President of Philanthropy, to say a few words about Hunger-Free Holidays.
Thank you, Michelle. Our annual year-end campaign to fight food insecurity is Hunger-Free Holidays. Our goal is to provide more meals now than ever, to support Iowans in need, to lessen their load, worries, and fears. For every dollar we receive, we will provide up to 4 meals to feed hungry Iowans. So stay tuned. You will hear more in the coming months as we ask you to join us to provide more meals at the holiday time through individual, corporate, and volunteer support.
Again, we've come a long way at Food Bank of Iowa, and we've only been able to do this with the support of donors and volunteers and community partners. We've come a long way, but we've got a distance to go. Please stick with us. Help us continue to fill the need and take care of your neighbor struggling to make ends meet. Have a good day.